What if I told you that the device you're watching this on, the surgery that saved your life, and the payment system you used this morning all trace back to one continent? A continent the world constantly underestimates. I'm talking about Africa. And before you click away thinking you know this story, trust me, you don't. What you're about to discover will completely shatter everything you thought you knew about innovation, genius, and who really built the modern world. We've been fed a narrative. A story that innovation belongs to Silicon Valley, that medical breakthroughs only happen in European labs, and that technology is born in Asian factories. But here's the uncomfortable truth they don't teach in schools. Africa has been quietly engineering solutions that literally keep the world running. And most people have no idea. Today, I'm pulling back the curtain on modern African inventions that changed everything. We're not talking about ancient history here. These are innovations from the last few decades that you interact with almost daily. Some of these will shock you. Others will make you angry that nobody ever told you about them. But all of them will prove one thing. Africa isn't just participating in the future, it's building it. Let's dive in. December 3, 1967. Cape Town, South Africa. The world held its breath as Dr. Christiaan Barnard did something no human had ever done before. He successfully transplanted a human heart from one person to another. Think about that for a moment. Every heart transplant performed today, every life saved by organ donation, every person walking around with a second chance at life, it all started in Africa. This wasn't some experimental procedure that failed. The patient, Louis Washkansky, survived for 18 days after the surgery, proving that the impossible was now possible. Without this African breakthrough, modern transplant medicine might have arrived decades later. How many lives would have been lost in that gap? We'll never know. What we do know is that Africa gave the world the gift of time, literally adding years to countless lives worldwide. Now let's talk about money. Specifically, the money currently in your digital wallet. Picture Kenya in 2007. Banks are scarce, especially in rural areas. DMs? Forget about it. But nearly everyone has something. A basic mobile phone. Not a smartphone, just a simple device that can send text messages. Enter M-Pesa. This revolutionary mobile money platform allowed Kenyans to send and receive money using nothing but their phones and text messages. No bank account required. No credit cards needed. Just your phone and a small network of agents. If you're finding this story eye-opening, do me a favor, hit that like button right now, comment, share, and subscribe to this channel. It tells YouTube to share this with more people who need to hear these truths. And trust me, we're just getting started. Today, over 50 million people across Africa use mobile money services. But here's where it gets interesting. M-Pesa didn't just stay in Africa. This African innovation became the blueprint for digital payment systems worldwide. Apple Pay? Inspired by this model. Google Pay? Same story. Venmo, Cash App, and countless other services owe their existence to what started in Kenya. The next time you tap your phone to pay for coffee, remember, you're using technology that Africa pioneered. In Tanzania, children with limb differences faced a heartbreaking reality. Prosthetics cost thousands of dollars, money their families simply didn't have. These kids were told to accept a life of limitations. But African innovators refused to accept that answer. They turned to 3D printing technology, creating custom prosthetic limbs for a fraction of the traditional cost. Children who couldn't walk suddenly took their first steps. Kids who couldn't play with friends finally joined in. Lives changed overnight. This wasn't just about affordability. The 3D printed prosthetics could be customized, adjusted, and replaced as children grew. What started as a solution for African children has now spread globally, making prosthetics accessible to disabled children everywhere. Africa didn't just solve its own problem, it solved a worldwide crisis in medical accessibility. Imagine living in a remote village hundreds of miles from the nearest cardiologist. You're experiencing chest pains, irregular heartbeats, and symptoms of a heart condition that could kill you. But there's no specialist anywhere near you. This was reality for millions of Africans, until Arthur Zong changed everything. This young Cameroonian engineer invented the cardiopad, a medical tablet that allows local doctors in rural areas to perform heart examinations and instantly transmit the results to specialists in cities. For the first time, world-class cardiac care became accessible to people who would have otherwise died waiting. The cardiopad has saved countless lives and positioned Africa as a leader in telemedicine technology. Today, as the world embraces remote healthcare, it's following a path that Africa paved years ago. Here's one that will blow your mind, the CAT scan. You know, that machine in hospitals that creates detailed images of your insides, detecting cancers, brain injuries, and diseases? That technology that saved millions of lives worldwide? An African helped invent it. Dr. Alan Cormack, a South African physicist, co-developed the mathematical techniques that made CT scanning possible. His work was so groundbreaking that he won the Nobel Prize in Physiology or Medicine in 1979. Every CT scan performed today, every tumor detected early, every brain injury diagnosed, every life saved by early detection, carries the fingerprints of African genius. Traffic congestion kills. It wastes time, increases pollution, and causes accidents. In the Democratic Republic of Congo, engineers decided to do something radical about it. They built robotic traffic police. These aren't just fancy lights. These solar-powered machines control traffic flow, record violations with built-in cameras, and even have mechanical arms that wave to direct vehicles. They work 24/7, never take bribes, and have significantly reduced accidents in Kinshasa. The innovation caught global attention. Other countries are now studying whether to adopt similar technology. Once again, Africa provided a solution the world needed. Rwanda. A medical emergency in a remote village. Someone needs blood and they need it now. In most countries, this scenario ends tragically. The patient dies before help arrives. But in Rwanda, a drone takes off carrying the life-saving blood supply. What would take hours by road takes minutes by air. The patient survives. Rwanda became the first country in the world to implement a nationwide medical drone delivery system. This African innovation has since been adopted by countries from the United States to Switzerland. When COVID-19 hit, the world scrambled to implement contactless delivery systems. But Africa had already been doing it for years. Sometimes the most powerful innovations are the simplest. Malaria kills hundreds of thousands of people in Africa annually, mostly children. Two students from Burkina Faso, Mokhtar Dembele and Gerard Nyandiko, asked a simple question. What if protection from malaria could be as easy as taking a bath? They created Faso soap, made with local herbs and shea butter that naturally repel mosquitoes. By simply washing with this soap, people create a protective barrier against mosquito bites, reducing malaria transmission. Genius doesn't always wear a lab coat. Sometimes it comes from young students who refuse to accept that deadly diseases are inevitable. Before we continue, if you believe these stories deserve to be known, subscribe to this channel right now. We're dedicated to uncovering the history they don't teach in schools. Hit that notification bell so you never miss a story. Now let's keep going. Space technology. Satellites. Radio telescopes. These aren't things people associate with Africa, but they should be. Nigeria has launched multiple satellites providing internet connectivity and weather tracking. South Africa is constructing one of the world's largest radio telescopes, the Square Kilometre Array, which will revolutionize our understanding of the universe. Egypt is investing heavily in space technology to monitor agriculture, natural disasters, and national security. Africa isn't just watching the space race, it's competing in it, and winning in ways that matter, using space technology to solve real problems on the ground. When violence erupted after Kenya's 2008 elections, communication broke down. People couldn't report what was happening. Help couldn't reach those who needed it most. A group of young Kenyan developers built Ushahidi, Swahili for testimony, a platform that crowdsources crisis information and maps it in real time. Anyone could report what they were witnessing, and everyone could see where help was needed most. Ushahidi didn't stay in Kenya. It's been used for earthquake relief in Haiti, to track election violence in multiple countries, to monitor COVID-19 cases, and to coordinate disaster response worldwide. This African innovation, born from necessity, became a global tool for crisis management. So here we are. 10 innovations. 10 game changers. 10 pieces of evidence that Africa isn't just part of the conversation about progress, it's leading it. But here's what makes me angry. Most people will go their entire lives never knowing these stories. They'll continue believing the lie that innovation only happens in certain places, among certain people. They'll keep underestimating an entire continent that has given humanity some of its most important breakthroughs. That ends today. That ends with you. Africa is not waiting for permission to innovate. It's not asking for validation. It's solving problems, saving lives, and building the future, whether the world pays attention or not. The narrative needs to change. And it starts by sharing stories like these. If this video opened your eyes, here's what I need you to do. Hit the like button to help YouTube share this with more people. Subscribe to this channel because we're just getting started uncovering these hidden stories. And most importantly, share this video. Send it to that friend who thinks they know everything about innovation. Post it on your social media. Let's make sure these stories reach the people who need to hear them most. Africa's genius is undeniable. Its contributions are invaluable. And its story is far from over. See you in the next video, where we'll uncover even more innovations that will challenge everything you thought you knew.